Hi everybody, and welcome to week 11 of Poppa's Picks, brought to you by FantasyDonks.com, your one-stop shop for everything you need to know to start playing daily fantasy football. I'm Sean Big Poppa Williams, and like always, I'll be giving you my picks as the top plays in daily fantasy football for week 11 of the NFL football season. This week, we'll continue to be using the DraftKings Millionaire Maker, as hopefully I'll be taking down $1 million this week, and if it's not me, hopefully it's you. Without further ado, let's get right into the quarterbacks. As usual, we'll start off with them. And the first quarterback I have on the board for you this week is Aaron Rodgers versus the Eagles. He carries with him a $9,400 price tag. And simply put, A-Rod is my top play this week at quarterback. The Eagles' pace of play will have, that means that Rodgers and the Packers will have the ball in their hands often, and that means a lot of fantasy points for Aaron Rodgers. I like this play too, as he is cheaper than Luck, Manning, and Brady at the $9,400 price tag, and may actually outpoint all those guys as well. The number 2 quarterback I have for you this week is Ben Roethlisberger at the Tennessee Titans. He carries with him a $7,200 price tag. Roethlisberger looked awful versus the Jets last week after back-to-back 5-touchdown performances. Really, Steelers bad against the Jets. I'm confused. But if he can bounce back this week, he makes a great play against the Titans at a good value at $7,200. Remember, it was just 2 weeks ago that he was throwing 5 touchdown passes. I like Roethlisberger in this matchup. The number 3 quarterback I have for you this week is that of Josh McCown at Washington. He's only $6,500, and Washington is a bottom 5 defense against the quarterback position. McCown also put up 25 points in last week's performance, and he has a plethora of offensive weapons, so I would look for him to hit that 25-plus point mark yet again this week, and at a $6,500 price tag, that pays off more than what you need. The number 4 quarterback I have for you this week is that of RG3 versus the Buccaneers. He's at $6,300. And the Bucs are still bad, and this game should be defense optional on both sides. That's why I like both quarterbacks in this game. He put up decent points last week against a stingy Vikings secondary. I think that RG3 can put up even better points against the Bucs defense. He might even be able to go crazy and get you 25-plus points. I like RG3 as a play against the Bucs. I also like McCown. That game should be defense optional. The number 5 quarterback I have for you this week, and Poppa's risk-reward pick, is that of Andy Dalton at the Saints. He's only $5,600. Look, Andy was so bad last week that he actually scored negative fantasy points as a quarterback. That's absurd. Because of that, the industry deflated his price tag all across the board. And he's dirt cheap. If he can manage to salvage his pride this week, he should make a great play against the Saints secondary that everyone that has played them has torched so far this season. I like Andy Dalton as a cheap play. You'll see that his value at $5,600 allows you to do a lot of things that some of the other quarterbacks don't do. And keep in mind, he is a quarterback that has 5 touchdown games in the past. So he has a great ceiling when he can remove his head from his orifice and play the way he should. With that said, let's move on to the running backs for this week. I feel like I have to tell you about Matt Forte with a great matchup this week. The only problem is he has a $10,100 price tag. That price tag will severely handcuff your development of a team this week. I don't like what he does to team lineups. I encourage you to try it, see how you feel about Matt Forte, but we're going to avoid recommending him this week just based on his price tag. And that leads me to the number 1 running back that I have for you this week, and that's Mark Ingram versus the Bengals at $6,200. Ingram is the workhorse of the Saints offense right now, and the Bengals are a bad run defense. I would look for him to continue to put up big points against the Bengals run D that is actually near the bottom of the NFL against the run. The number 2 running back I have for you this week is Ahmad Bradshaw versus the Patriots at $5,700. The best way to beat the Patriots is to run the ball on their porous run defense and keep the ball out of the hands of Tom Brady. I would expect Bradshaw to be in the 20-point range against the NFL's third worst run defense. Keep in mind, Bradshaw also catches passes, which makes him a sexy play too, especially if this game either gets out of hand on the Patriots' end, meaning the Patriots are winning, or if the Colts have to hang with the Patriots, that the Patriots are scoring a lot of points. The third running back I have for you is Alfred Morris versus the Bucs. He's $5,400 this week. And the Bucs are a bad defense. We've been over this every week. They're especially bad against the run. And Alf is coming off a 25-point performance his last time out. I would look for more of the same against a terrible run defense in the Bucs. If you can't tell, I like playing a lot of players against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The number 4 running back I have for you this week is C.J. Anderson at the Rams. He carries with him a $4,800 price tag, and the Broncos have announced that C.J. Anderson will be the feature back this week. Last week, he put up 26 points coming in for an injured Ronnie Hillman. Even though the Rams defense is okay on paper, I still expect CJ to get close to that 26-point mark again this week, as he catches a lot of passes, and Peyton Manning knows which plays to utilize the running back in, making him a more dangerous weapon than normal because he has Peyton Manning. The number 5 running back I have for you this week, which is Poppa's risk reward of the week, is that of Steven Jackson at the Carolina Panthers. He's only $4,400, and I realize S. Jackson's bad. He's been bad for 2 years now, but he did put up 17 fantasy points last week, and now he gets the Panthers, who are even worse of a defense. I think he has a 20-plus point game left in him, and I think this is the week that we're going to see that. And at $4,400, even the 17-point performance that he had last week would pay off and hit value there. With that said, and we're wrapping up the running backs, let's move right along to wide receivers. Before I get into my picks, let's just acknowledge the usual suspects: Demarius, Megatron, Antonio Brown, Jeremy Maclin, Jordy Nelson. They're the elites and priced that way. I like them all this week. Good luck trying to fit them into your salary cap. But what I'm going to try to do in the Poppa's Pick segment for the wide receivers is show you a couple of other guys that are a little bit below the radar. The first one I like even more than Demarius is Emmanuel Sanders at the Rams. He's $7,400, and this may be my favorite play of the week, as the Rams are bad against the pass, but they're really bad against wide receiver number 2s. They're actually last in the league. I like Peyton Manning to know this and exploit this weakness, and look for Emmanuel Sanders to put up monster points this week, especially at that $7,400 price tag being cheaper than the elites. I think he could reach elite points totals. The number 2 wide receiver I have for you this week is that of Julio Jones at the Carolina Panthers. He's $7,000. We all know how bad the Panthers are on defense. So bad, in fact, I don't even think Matty Ice's terrible road splits are going to come into factor this week. I think Julio Jones could have a monster. And the other side of this offense, Roddy White at $5,500, I think makes a great value / contrarian play this week, and could see the 20-plus points that he put up last week as well. I like Atlanta's weapons this week against the Carolina Panthers. The number 3 wide receiver I have for you is Jordan Matthews at the Packers. He's only $4,500, and the reason why is because he played in the Monday Night Football game. The industry didn't have time to adjust his price before they posted the contests for this week. I think a lot of people are going to be on him because of how cheap he is, but I don't think his high ownership will matter at the price point, because if he performs, you're just basically getting a free roll there. I like Jordan Matthews to have a really good day this weekend, and I love him to pay off his $4,500 price tag. The number 4 wide receiver I have for you this week is that of A.J. Green. He's $6,000 at the New Orleans Saints. Look, the Red Rifle was so bad last week, and we covered it, but he was so bad that his premier weapon, A.J. Green, fell to $6K. As long as Andy Dalton isn't a complete waste of space, I like A.J. Green and think he's well worth the $6K against the porous Saints secondary. The number 5 play I have for you, this week's risk-reward play at wide receiver, is that of Pierre Garcon. He's only $4,000 and he's playing the Bucks. This is the safe play here for that everyone's probably going to be making is Deshaun Jackson at 7,300. But Garcon was once RG3's favorite target, and they used to put up monster games together. So much so that Garcon was a top 5 fantasy wide receiver last year. The risk here is, will they ever return to that form? And my argument is, if they're ever going to return to that form, it will be this weekend versus the Bucks. I like him at a $4,000 price tag. I think he does great things for your lineup when you put him in there. Hopefully he can hit that 20-point mark and be a great play. With that wrapped up, let's move right along to tight ends as usual. And the number 1 tight end I have for you on the board this week is Rob Gronkowski at 7,900 at the Colts. This game is the highest over-under of the week at 55 points. And Gronk should be a huge part of that action, as the Colts are a bottom 6 team in the league against the tight end position. We all know that Gronky Kong can go crazy. I think he goes crazy against the Indianapolis Colts this week. The number 2 tight end I have for you is that of Jimmy Graham. He's $7,000 versus the Bengals. The Bengals are the 2nd worst team in the NFL against the tight end position. I love for Jimmy Graham to go ballistic this week, put up monster points, and well pay off his $7,000 price tag. The third tight end I have for you is Julius Thomas at 6,400 at the Rams. The matchup isn't as good as Graham's or Gronk's, but he is cheaper, significantly cheaper. Also, I think if you do the work, the matchup on paper is just an illusion, as when you go through the Rams' schedule, they haven't played an elite tight end or an offense that focuses through the tight end. If Manning is finding Julius this week, I think he can put up really good points against the Rams defense that is overrated against the tight end position. The number 4 tight end I have for you this week is that of Travis Kelce at 4,000 versus the Seahawks. The Seahawks are still bad at covering the tight end. I would expect Kelce to have a big game at home. He's been a yo-yo all season, but after the top 3, all the tight ends are a little bit of a risk. I still like the Kelce play this week at 4K. The fifth tight end, and this is Poppa's risk-reward pick at tight end, is that of Riviera at 3,100 of the Raiders, and they are at the Chargers this week. Riviera has seen 28 targets in the last 3 games and has a bad matchup on paper, but the Chargers gave up a huge game last week to Charles Clay in their last outing before the bye. And with the injuries they've taken into their secondary and linebacking core, they seem to get worse every week. I love Riviera at $3,100 as a play this week, and think that and what he does to your team by freeing up a lot of salary lets you stud up at wide receiver or at quarterback this week, giving you a lot of flexibility. I hope you enjoyed Poppa's picks for this week, week 11 of the NFL football season. Feel free to get a hold of us if you have any questions or comments on Poppa's picks at fantasydonks.com. You can chat with us at the Dialogue with the Donks page, or hit us up on Twitter at Big Poppa Debate. That's BIGPOPPADB and the number 8. And I will answer any and all fantasy football questions you have, from daily fantasy football to even your regular season-long leagues. Like I said earlier, hopefully I take down the million this week, but if it's not me, I really want it to be you. Good luck, and I wish everybody the best. Let's make some money this week. Have a good one.